Sup my dudes, Valkyrja. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about classes, class roles, basically jobs inside co-op, because I've seen a lot of people who really have no idea what the roles do essentially and what the roles mean. So in order to know what I'm talking about, first we have to go to weapons. On the weapons page you can see there's this thing called match settings. Fortitude, Benediction, and Attack. Benediction are your healers. These are normally people who run multiple healers, that way they can try to keep the team healthy. Fortitude are the people who are in charge of drawing the aggro off the enemies. And then Attack, obviously, main DPS, in charge of killing enemies. So what are these different ones? How do you queue up for each one? And what do they mean? These are your co-op settings of what role you want to try to accomplish. For example, I have a very balanced setup right now, so really I can take on any of the three roles. I would have to just mostly focus into one of these, right? Whenever Frigg comes out, I plan on adding Frigg to this team in a place of Meryl, which is going to give me more DPS, and it's going to further increase my DPS by 40%, which is going to be a very, very big thing. But it's something that is very important to keep in mind, is whenever, because I like the attack role, a lot of people do, I'm going to end up being a main DPS. But here's a very big one, is Fortitude. A lot of people don't understand Fortitude and exactly how it works. You basically want to equip two tank weapons, essentially. Like Meryl, you can see on Meryl here is a tank weapon, or if I go to switch, another good example, let me see, would be like this one right here. The Pummeler is also a tank weapon. It has the shield, so if I was to run two, it would switch my resonance. Like, let's go ahead and swap off Nemesis so you can see what I mean. It would switch my resonance over to shield. You can see my resonance swap to Fortitude, so now I draw aggro by 800% and my shatters increase by 60%, and my final damage reduction is boosted by 25% up to 40% in team play, or 45% in team play. So basically my job would be to pull aggro so the DPS can well DPS. And as far as Benediction goes, you'd want to run a double healer. So for example, if I swap Nemesis back, and then I go ahead and I swap in the 4-star healer right here, you can see now, oh, I picked the wrong one, that's a spear. Let me find the healing staff right here. This is it. Okay, I got the right one this time. Now I have Benediction. Benediction, equip 2 support type weapons to activate, increase healing by 100%, which in team play is increased by a further 100%. Basically, that is 200% healing. But for me, like I said, I like playing DPS, so whenever Frigg comes out, I'm probably going to stick Frigg in the spot where Meryl is in currently, and I'm going to be running an attack team for a further boost of 50% damage. Now, why am I saying all of this? Why is this important? Because so many people in join ops and co-op don't understand what the roles are, what they mean, and what it does, and basically what it means to do. So if you are queuing up for one of these roles, for the love of God, please try to match the resonance with it. Try to match the weapon resonance with it, and try to have a team centered around the role you're wanting to play. If you don't want to play healer, don't queue up as healer. Like, I've seen so many people in Benediction that just get out-healed by my solo Nemesis healing. I get it, Nemesis is a very cracked healer, but if you're playing Benediction, you are getting a 200% increase in healing. I should not be out healing you, even as a whale. I've seen people, I see people roll up as Fortitude, where me as the DPS, I always roll up as attack. I'm always attack. You can see that is my match settings, is I want to be DPS. I have high damage, I want to roll as that. I've seen people come in, take the Fortitude roll, right? But then I'm still drawing aggro, okay? People don't really understand what these roles are and what they mean and why they're so incredibly important to the team, because in the end, whenever you are doing very high-level gameplay content, whenever you're doing very high-level stuff, you can go ahead, you will get your team killed by taking a role that you don't have the resonance for. You want to make sure your resonance matches the role you're trying to fit. Like I said, for me, I've mostly been running Meryl because I've been minimum investing into a lot of my stuff. You can see in my warehouse, my closest one is my 0 at level 70. I'm saving everything to, like I said, once again, get my Frigg up high so I can have another DPS option, because the closest DPS I have is Crow at level 40. So I've been running balance the whole time, which balance just gives you a little bit of everything. Final damage and damage reduction increased by 20%. I'm a little bit of everything. I don't really draw the aggro, I don't really do anything. I'm not the highest damage, but I have a balanced setup, and it's going to go into a DPS setup once we basically get that, and it's going to be more and more relevant as you get to harder and harder content that's going to want you to be more and more optimized with how you run things. A good example of that is the hard difficulty of Frontier Rift. Frontier Rift is incredibly difficult, and I have one thing to ask while we're talking on the topic of co-op. If you run Meryl, for the love of God, please be mindful of your ults. I cannot explain to you the amount of times Meryl has basically gotten me killed by ulting and trapping me in with the enemy, or ulting and blocking my line of DPS so I can't actually DPS the enemy. Just be very mindful of how you are ulting with Meryl. It can sometimes be much more of a hindrance to the team than it actually helps. I get it. They have a shield. It is your big damage. I get it. You have a giant nuke for a Meryl ult and you want to hit the funny button. By all means, hit the funny button. Just be very mindful of where your team is, what the boss is doing, what all of this situation is going on, and I promise you, 9 times out of 10, it's not worth it to Meryl ult as Meryl, because it makes me, personally, very, very sad. I don't like people ulting as Meryl and essentially getting me killed or blocking my line as DPS, because you block basically all ranged DPS as Meryl's ult, and they have to go up into the skies and start doing helicopter spins or trying to set all sorts of other stuff up. Or you could really mess up their rotations by making it so they can't backdash and they get stuck in the ult. Just don't do the ult, please. Anyways, that's basically the video. Hopefully I explained these roles a lot better. Hopefully people understand the resonance is better and all that, so co-op is not such a pain in the butt. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.